Pokemon Legends Arceus is the most fun Pokemon game I've played in years. And that says a lot coming from someone who's been playing Pokemon since third generation. Now, everybody knows, and I'm going to be a bit rhetorical about this when I say that Pokemon has been in quite of a downfall since the X and Y era. Graphically, performance wise, the games haven't really lived up to the expectations of a lot of the Pokemon fan base. Now, each game has its own identity. This game, however, shifts that identity towards a promising, bright future that Pokemon can improvise from this game. This game, like I said, is the most fun I've had. This is probably one of those Pokemon games in probably in recent modern times where it was just fun. It was something that I enjoyed playing. Even though this game kind of hinges towards like more of the completionist kind of aspect of Pokemon, since you have to do a lot of tasks and do a lot of research tasks to complete the Pokedex, complete requests in order for you to get items, good prizes. This game does a lot more for those people who play the game casually. When it comes to this game, you get rewarded for even the toughest of all tasks, which is completing the Pokedex and getting the Pokedex to level 10 research. By the way, I will say there's going to be a little bit of spoilers. I'm not really going to try to talk about the story because while I do believe the story is okay, I don't really think the story really affects my overall review of this game because honestly, who plays Pokemon for the story? The stories are, an aspect of the game where it helps create character development, but at the same time, it's about the performance, it's about the graphics, it's about our interactions with the Pokemon in the overworld or in random encounters. This game, however, tells us a lot more. This game shows us that Gamefreak does have what it takes to make a good Pokemon game. And it's up to them to decide whether they want to take this game and essentially build the foundation for future Pokemon games. Now, do I see Game Freak going back to the old formula? Unfortunately, yes. I do believe that they do want to continue that tradition. And if they do so, it'd be quite unfortunate because the original formula, it's not really that great. In matters of fact, in my personal belief, I think it's just more of a stale formula that has been repetitive for far too long. Having an open world Pokemon game is such a good idea. However, that idea can only be considered good if it's executed properly. While I do believe this game does have a bit of its flaws here and there, I think it's a great start. I think it's a promising start for future Pokemon games. An open world-esque Pokemon game that doesn't have corridors, that doesn't have a stale formula that players gotta follow, you can essentially do whatever you want for how God knows how many hours you put in, and it feels so rewarding. Um, from my experience, from what I've seen a lot of people from playing this game, there are some people who essentially are still stuck in the first area and have spent 50 hours because they are just mesmerized that they want to complete the Pokedex for some reason, or they want to catch one of every single Pokemon based on, you know, spawn times. Shiny hunting is a pretty big thing as well. And I will say this, if you are a completionist in Pokemon, this is the perfect game for you because you can get rewarded for so much, and honestly, it feels so good. It feels really good. Um, a lot of people have been saying that they've been doing a lot of shiny hunting because shiny hunting has been a lot easier in this game, and I agree. I actually have managed to take the time to actually, go ahead and shiny hunt 4 or 5 Pokemon in this game so far, and it's been incredible. Um, if you're that kind of person who is a bit worrisome about the Pokemon games, who you do not have faith in Game Freak, you know what? I'll get the negatives out the way. This game graphically does not live up to the expectations of other open world games on the Switch, such as Super Mario Odyssey, or even the most compared game, Breath of the Wild. Now we know those games are hallmarks. They are cornerstones of great franchises that manage to dare themselves and challenge themselves to make a new Pokemon game. Sorry, not Pokemon games. They make their own respective games. Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey were unique in that they were innovative, and those creative studios behind those games were just, they wanted to take themselves to the next level, and it paid off really great. Do I believe Game Freak has what it takes to take it to the next level? Given the recent track history, no, I don't think so. Um, I do believe that Game Freak needs to be collaborating with other video game developing studios in order to, enhance their quality of products. Because quite frankly, if you look back in their history, X and Y was a great era of Pokemon, but if you try to play that game over again, it's really empty. Sun and Moon was very promising. It had some great features, but that got marred severely by the inclusion of Ultra Sun and Moon, which is a common occurrence with Game Freak. That they try to put out products that don't live up to the expectations and are clearly cash grabs and kind of neglect what the people have been asking for a very long time. Then you have Sword and Shield, which was the most controversial. And yes, Sword and Shield were not that great. And obviously, first and foremost, you can tell that there was a pretty bad public relations with that game, with the limited Pokedex. And I believe the games were okay, but they were not entertaining up until the introduction of DLC. And I'm kind of glad they decided to take the DLC route. But I still think Sword and Shield could have been so much more given to the competition of games on the Switch that do everything so much better. Next, you have Let's Go. And Let's Go was obviously the first, I would say the first quote unquote real Pokemon game on the Switch that it had the graphics. The mechanics were simple, but the graphics are still pretty good even up to today's standards. And it was pretty much an experimental Pokemon game that everybody has been waiting for a very long time, especially on the Switch. Then you have Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And those games were very lackluster in the aspect that they didn't introduce anything new. It was a literal rehash of faithful games, a remaster, essentially. And those games did not provide anything new outside of quality of life improvements, which already has been seen in Sword and Shield. So those games were disappointing. Then this game, just a change to the formula. A change to the formula that not only is entertaining, it's sustainable, and also gives you a skeleton, a potential outlook of what Game Freak has in store for us in the future years with this franchise. If you really want my rating of this game, based on, certain things, I will say this. If you're looking for the negatives, if you're a picky person like some people are in the Pokemon community, I will say that this game, the negatives, the majority of the negatives are going to come from the presentation of this game. The graphics are not that great. I will be honest with that. As you can probably see in my silhouette, like you can see there's some technological aspects of this game where you can clearly see that Game Freak, yeah, they're not great experts at certain graphical and performance technicalities. Sometimes in the open world, you will notice that certain Pokemon or certain places lack Pokemon. And maybe that is because they started realizing that, hey, we cannot be throwing Pokemon at everyone's faces every 2 seconds. But at the same time, if you lack a certain Pokemon in a certain area, it does seem a little bit barren. But I think the open world is interactive enough to the point where that doesn't really become an issue. So those are pretty much the only negatives I can think of in this game. Now, also, people will argue that the lack of multiplayer and online also is a negative, but to me, it's somewhat of a 50-50 because I think the open world is so immersive and interactive that you really don't need online. The trading, yes, I mean, that's been a staple in Pokemon since the beginning of time itself. But online battling, I think, should be improved upon in a potential DLC for this game. Or if you're going to make another Pokemon game within this type of series, I think you should introduce a balance of open world like this and online experience, kind of like a Pokemon MMO, which I know those have existed, fan made in the past. But I think this is a great opportunity for Gamefreak to realize if we have a good skeleton with open world, if we can somehow add a online aspect of this game, this would be a really good game, a really phenomenal game. Um, the good parts of this game. This is a completionist dream come true, believe it or not. The reason why I say that is because you get rewarded for doing everything and anything, from completing the Pokedex to doing the missions, from doing the mission requests, from trying to unlock every rank as a researcher in this game. This game rewards you, and they reward you the best way possible by giving you better shiny odds. And I'm not kidding when people say that they spend hours and hours shiny hunting for Pokemon they want, because the game rewards you for trying to do everything the game asks you to. Something that has been lackluster in previous Pokemon games. You know, when you complete the Pokedex, all you get is the shiny charm, maybe the oval charm if you're a breeder, and that's pretty much it. You get a piece of paper or certificate saying, "Hey, congrats, you complete the Pokedex." In this game, they reward you with a shiny charm. They reward you with introduction of Ultra Balls, Gigaton Balls, Jet Balls. The higher up you go with the Pokedex, you get better shiny odds on top of getting a shiny charm, which is really good. Especially for those who enjoy the casual aspect of this game, which clearly it is a casual game. There is no multiplayer, there is no online battling, so it makes sense that they decided to take that out and just make this game fun, make this game entertaining. Um, the Pokemon themselves, some of the models look really good. They look a lot more alive than the other mainline Pokemon games like Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Um, Trainer customization looks pretty damn good. A lot more customization than simple outfits that they give you, staple outfits. And last but not least, the environment. The environment, while, like I said, the graphics look okay, I think having an open world is such a good idea. And I'm glad that Game Freak are starting to finally realize that having an open world means a lot to us. It's about damn time, as I keep saying myself. Now, where can they go from here? There's a lot they can do. There's quite a bit that they can potentially do in this game. They can either make it its own series. They can implement a certain aspects of this game in a mainline Pokemon game. Maybe in Generation 9 we get a combination of online multiplayer and open world. That'd be pretty sick. Or they can make this game separate from the mainline Pokemon games and have it, interactable with Pokemon Home. That way you can trade Pokemon with the mainline and this game series. And there's a lot of creative direction that they can go with this game. They can, since they pretty much talk about, the origin of the Sinnoh region, perhaps they can take us next direction with other origin Pokemon. For example, where did Deoxys come from? What about the unfinished, unpolished story of Sword and Shield? Where did the dogs come from? How did Eternatus came to be? What was the darkest day? Or they can talk about, you know, legendary Pokemon history, like what happened with Kyogre and Groudon. How did they become primals? You know, how did Mega Rayquaza came to be? And seeing that in an open world 3D environment with good storytelling, that'd be pretty amazing. That'd be really good. Now, of course, they should try to at least um, balance out the game more. And what I mean by that is, try to push it to its switch. Try to push the game's graphical and performance levels to the point that where the Switch cannot take it anymore. Now I know it's kind of risky, but if Breath of the Wild can do that, if Super Mario Odyssey can do that, this game can do it too. In terms of the Pokemon, I love the way the Pokemon look. I do. The one little thing, the little detail that I may not like is they did nerf a lot of moves in this game. I hope that doesn't really reflect in future Pokemon games because I do think certain moves, some that do not exist and some that have gotten nerfed, that might be a bit worrisome for me as a competitive battler. But other than that, I think the game is overall fairly balanced. The difficulty of this game, I would say, is not really based on what the game provides you. It's rather how you interact with that. Yes, there kind of is a difficulty curve, but that solely depends on how you, pretty much how you set yourself up. Are you a person that just goes gun ho, or are you a person that plays very, very carefully and thinks a couple steps ahead than everybody else? And I think this game alleviates that difficulty, something that people have been asking for a very long time. And I think this game responds that aspect or that request pretty good. Because either you can catch all the Pokemon, you can battle them all, you can risk potentially losing all your Pokemon, because a lot of the underleveled Pokemon have the potential to knock out your overleveled Pokemon. And overleveling doesn't really matter in this game because, again, your moves can miss. Your moves can possibly do nothing to a Pokemon based on the stat distribution and how damage calculation is pretty much calculated in this game. It's a bit different, a little bit wonkier than the mainline Pokemon games. But other than that, this is a really promising game. If I had to rate this game, I would give it a potential 9 out of 10. Just for the entertainment, just for that. You can put hundreds of hours in this game, and it's still fun. It still feels so good playing a Pokemon game that isn't following the archaic formula that has been following since its creation. An open world Pokemon game integrated with online battling, online features, would arguably come down as one of the best Pokemon games of all time. Now, of course, I'm being a little bit hopeful, but I do believe that Gamefreak has what it takes, but they do need to polish on certain technical aspects of this game. But other than that, that's pretty much my review right there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm very curious to see what your guys' opinions are, so go ahead and comment down below in the video. What do you think about this game, and where do you think Gamefreak can take this skeleton, this very bright future that they have with this game? It's very possible they can expand on this and they can take it to new heights. It's your boy Franklin signing out. Peace.